I don't want to hear everybody thought they were going somewhere. I don't want to hear it. It ain't happening. It ain't going to happen. They're going to come to Philadelphia, and everybody's going to say they've got such great hopes. And I love seeing Arthur Blank on the sidelines at the end of the game after they lose. I enjoy that.
So let's turn our attention to the Falcons now, who had a horrendous loss to the Steelers in week 1, yet they are still the plus 145 favorite to win the NFC South. Harrison, what are your thoughts on this team?
Well, I think maybe we jumped the gun too quick here. There's so much change here for the Atlanta Falcons. It's a new regime coming in with Raheem Morris after Arthur Smith has left. And while maybe some people celebrated the hire, and I'm not necessarily going to downgrade them from the hire, that does mean change, especially when you factor in that Kirk Cousins is coming in from an offseason having surgery on his Achilles. So there's definitely going to be a change there for the Atlanta Falcons. It's going to take some time for them to really catch a rhythm. Meanwhile, you look like a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's what a lot of teams would like to have, particularly to begin the season. That's continuity in terms of them bringing back Baker Mayfield, bringing back Mike Evans. And then we know that defensive secondary is one of the better units in the NFL. Antoine Winfield Jr. was seen as one of the better safeties in the NFL. And we know Todd Bowles, if he's put in a position where he has a lead, he's definitely going to blitz. And it would favor him if his team can get off to a fast start. And I think the way the offense is set up, they can get out to fast starts with those options they have on the exterior with Mike Evans and with Godwin as well. So I think we might have jumped the gun. I don't necessarily think it's set and sealed that the Falcons won't win the NFC South. But I think it being a foregone conclusion was kind of misguided across a lot of people's common thinking.
Well, Harrison, it's pretty clear now. That's been declared. You've never listened to the GM Shuffle, nor have you ever listened to the Lombardi Line before, because we never jumped the gun, okay? It's confirmed. You've never did. And I understand why. I mean, obviously, you had other jobs to do. I don't hold a grudge against you at all. But there was no way anybody on any platform that I was on thought the Atlanta Falcons were a good team. I mean, this is a team that couldn't stop anybody. They lost their best defensive coach in Ryan Nielsen, who had them third in the National Football League in third down defense, fourth in red zone defense, without a pass rush, without creating any turnovers. They were 28th in the league in creating turnovers. They couldn't play at home. They couldn't stop Baker Mayfield in a 2-minute drill. They've never demonstrated that they have any physical toughness. Their best defensive lineman, Calais Campbell, had 19.5 pressures. They didn't even offer him a contract to come back. He went down to Miami. So this organization, to me, yes, I am very disappointed they didn't hire Coach Belichick. Yes, I am disappointed that they put out there that he didn't even make it to their top 3. But it just shows you the level of incompetence. I mean, they give A.J. Terrell, make him the second highest paid corner in the National Football League. And by the way, just so we're aware, he hadn't had an interception in 2 years. He can't make a play on the football. George Pickens proved that once again on Sunday. So no one on any platform that I was on ever thought this. So I know the national media did. I understand that. And I understand that's love for Kirk Cousins, Grace. But to me, I just felt like, what do we know about Cousins? The offensive line is overrated. I know Pro Football Focus has him as a top line. That's not true. You talk to anybody in the league, everybody will tell you they can't pass block. Their longest plays last year were a 61-yard screen to Jonnu Smith, a 65-yard wheel route to Bijan Robinson. They have no speed at wide receiver. They're the slowest team in the league. And now they have a quarterback, Grace, who can't move. And I think his arm is suspect because he can't drive the ball with his lower body. But other than that, I love their team. And I love seeing Arthur Blank on the sidelines at the end of the game after they lose. I enjoy that. You know, he can go back to his 180-foot yacht and listen to Kaiser Sose McKay. So I have nicknames for everybody on the Falcons. Kaiser Sose McKay is Rich McKay. Okay? I mean, I got to catch you guys up on all this because you haven't been a part of it. So just bear with me for a second here. Kyle Sose McKay is Rich McKay, who really runs the team. He pretends he doesn't run the team. It's really brilliant. He hides behind all of it. He's been there for 22 years. He's now 2 games under 500 in his career as the general manager, CEO, executor of Arthur Blank's estate, by the way. So he's also there. Terry Super Bowl winning GM Fontenot, who's never won a Super Bowl in his entire life, never been a part of building a team in his entire life. And then we have Chris Olsen, who doesn't do any incentives. So I haven't nicknamed him yet, but I will. I'll come up with something there. So this organization is just basically always going to be mediocre. They're never going to win. And Blank's a wonderfully nice man who's been lied to over the course of the years because he wanted to hire the greatest coach of all time, and they all talked him out of it. All right, we're all caught up. Grace, take over.
No, I want to hear more about that. Do you know why he was talked out of hiring Belichick?
Of course I do know why. I know everything that goes on. I haven't been sleeping at the wheel here, Grace. I just want you to know I'm wired in this whole thing. And the reason he didn't get hired is because Kaiser Sose McKay would have felt threatened. Now, Kaiser Sose McKay, originally from the start, okay, this thing started about 2 weeks left to go in the season. They made an initial contact to Coach Belichick's to people. They said, hey, look, we're going to probably fire Arthur Smith. We want Bill to be the coach. From that moment on, Rich McKay worked backwards to make sure that Raheem Morris got the job. That was his number one candidate all along. Now, when they made that phone call, they assured Coach Belichick's agent and they assured everybody in his camp that Rich McKay was not going to be involved. That was a complete lie. That was a complete lie. Kaiser Sose McKay is always involved in everything. He's never going away. He's going to be there forever. He's going to take an afternoon jog for 5 miles every day. He's going to have an opinion on football. Never uncertain, seldom right, and he's going to continue to run the team. And then Terry Fontenot teamed up with Rich McKay, Super Bowl winner that he is, to basically protect his job, to guard his desk, because they all felt threatened when he walked in the building. I mean, it's really hard to imagine that you just go ahead and you ignore the greatest coach of all time to then hire Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson to come in and run your program. That tells you you're stuck in mediocrity, and you're going to continue to be stuck in mediocrity for a long time. And Will Hill's right. Why would you play them to make it? Just because the national media thinks Kirk Cousins went through this transformation. He can't win a big game, but all of a sudden he puts on an Atlanta uniform. And, I forgot to mention the brilliance of drafting Michael Penix. Somebody explain that to me. How does this work out? Let me add one more. The only team in the National Football League, I want you two guys to guess this, the only team in the National Football League that did not get any contributions from their rookie class in week one was, I'll wait.
Falcons.
Grace, Harrison? There you go, winner.
Falcons.
You win the prize. There you go. So I don't want to hear everybody thought they were going somewhere. I don't want to hear it. It ain't happening. It ain't going to happen. They're going to come to Philadelphia, and everybody's going to say they've got such great hopes. Good luck.
Well, that's usually what happens when you have particularly what maybe would seem the best quarterback in the division. But all of those things that you said very well, definitely ringing true to me in terms of how I might look going forward in this division in terms of who might win that NFC South. But, Michael, with all those things being said, with all of the uncertainty and all the unhappiness with maybe how you view the running the front office, they could still very well have the best quarterback. And it's not like you need a world beater per se, to win the NFC South. We saw how the Buccaneers won the division last year. Where would you, if you were a betting man, where would you put your bet to win the division?
I think Tampa Bay. I think if Tampa Bay's front goes against Atlanta, Kirk Cousins Kirk Cousins never really responds well to pressure. I think Dennis Allen takes a lot of crap because he's not very good ATS. But he's a really good defensive coordinator. I don't care what anybody tells me about that. He's a really good defensive coordinator. It'll be a problem for Zach Robinson to protect Kirk Cousins. Because remember, Kirk Cousins can't move. They can't move. And we're ignoring they have no explosive players on offense. Drake London's the 16th pick overall in the draft. It's a joke. They took Kyle Pitts over Micah Parsons. They haven't drafted a defensive lineman. They let Jalen Carter walk by. They took a running back. You would have thought people would have criticized them, but no, we can't criticize Super Bowl GM Terry Fontenot. They had Jalen Carter in their backyard. They don't have a three technique. Grady Jarrett's still their best three technique, and he's coming off an ACL. They drafted two defensive linemen in the second and third round. They couldn't even get them on the field in the first week. They couldn't even get them on the field. That's how bad they are. So it's a joke, and everybody knows it in the league. Everybody loves the fact that everybody in the media wants them to keep going because, look, you don't want to foul out the worst player, the best. You don't want to foul them out. You want to keep them in their jobs. Don't say anything about them. Everybody in the South, Tampa's a better team, and so is New Orleans. Now, Carolina, they got their own problems. I could do a whole dissertation on those, too. That's probably the worst-run organization because that owner has no clue, and he continues to learn that he has no clue. He continues to double down on no clue, but we'll get to that later. Anyway.
Man, there is
Tell
so
them how
much
you
I could
really
go
feel,
from
Michael.
here.
Tell them
I
how
know,
you really
seriously.
feel.
I want to do this for a whole
look,
other block.
Harrison, if you know anything about me, I'm going to say what I think. I mean, I don't have to hold back. I don't really care. I don't have to hold back. I don't play politics. I mean, I'm not trying to protect anybody, although I will say if you're going to take a shot at the greatest coach of all time, you better understand, you better back it up.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.